Hey, what is up here, guys? Cool here, and I wanted to go over Scott's Go next experiment. And before we get into this, I already did upload my video. I did agree with the points that I made, it's just I don't feel like I delivered them the best. So before I get started, I just want to say that as a smaller content creator, I do feel the need to kind of rush my point. And that will make me end up forgetting and kind of rambling on my point. Which is not the best. But my point is that a lot of times people will usually either click off the video the moment that they don't agree with a point, or a point isn't solid enough to catch their attention. So before you make any conclusions, please just watch a little bit longer than what you think, at the very least. Hopefully with that we can get into this, but really first, really quickly, I wanted to go ahead and make the point of Scott's solution was to add the depipping penalty back to where players will depip upon DCing and stuff. To which I say, I don't think that's going to do anything, and in this entire clip that I'm about to show, we'll state why. And I'm not kidding when I forgot what I was going to say, so I'm going to say it right here first. If the issue is experienced players know when they're going to lose a game, chances are experienced players aren't going to care about blood points that much to begin with anyway. Which is the main point of what he was saying, is if we give depipping back, then it's not as many blood points, and I'm just going to be real with you. I don't give a single damn about a single blood point, I just want fun matches. Just like anyone else. So I'm going to let this clip play, and then we'll continue on after that.
Theory that it's mostly burnout causing people to give up this quickly. Because a new player, if they load into a match and get down by a singularity and not picked up, and they see a funny little knockout perk icon on their screen, they might not have any idea what's happening. They haven't built up the cynicism to know that this is going to be an obnoxious game, and so the newer and average players are far less likely to give up because they haven't encountered as many obnoxious things as a very experienced and veteran player has. So the better the player is, the more likely they're to give up, which is a...
So, and just a minute before that, he also states that 9 out of 10 times the people who would give up first are the veteran players, the players who actually gave him a good chase and everything. To which I'm just going to state in advance is that I feel like that isn't burnout, that's more of just, again, the current stale fucking meta and that the DVD has. I mean, I guess that could also be burnout. I guess maybe we could say it's part of the problem, but at the same time, the current way DBD is set up, and again, it just becomes more and more that as time goes on until the devs decide to finally do a meta shakeup, is that experienced players can 9 out of 10 times to quickly tell how a match is going to go. There is only so many things you can do, and to a certain point, you're going to know every perk a killer has. And if it is a Blight running 4 slowdowns with double speed, unless I'm playing with a Survive with friends who all have similar hours, I'm probably not going to win that because the devs still have yet to properly give Blight a proper, real fucking nerf instead of just putting a band-aid over it and saying, "Good job, buddy." So, until things like that happens, I don't know what they want. I mean, there is no reason that we should be buffing every killer to feel like a annoying Blight clone. I'm just gonna be honest with you. The Freddy nerf has been the only, the Freddy buff is the only buff in a while that I have not seen any real issue with, other than, you changed his kit, so, hey, he might feel a little bit more annoying to play against, but I don't think he's vastly that stronger, which is completely fine with, I think, if anything, though, they just made him more of a noob stomper because he can teleport to injured players, so I don't... which is the whole reason they changed Freddy in the first fucking place, which is very funny to me. So, I just wanted to say that I feel like the other big topic of this is that people generally were getting so frustrated with people going next, "Oh, my game is unplayable because people won't play the game against me." And it's like, yeah, man. Welcome to the stale fucking MMR. People understand 9 out of 10 games. People are going to understand that they just can't win anymore, and they will go next. Well, I'm playing Skull Merchant. You're playing Skull Merchant. Shut the fuck up. I don't care if they were nerfed into oblivion. I'm not going to go next against them. I'm still going to understand that people don't want to go against a killer who is essentially a trapper now, which sucks. I mean, I don't see many people going next against Trapper, but I've also not seen people going against Skull Merchant either. And I feel like the people who do play Skull Merchant generally have something to prove with her, as I only see Skull Merchant players being like, "Guys, I'm literally running no perks and they're still going next against me." And it's just like, dude. Number one, how are you winning most of your matches of killers so hard? Anyway, so it's just very funny. Anyway, Let's go on to this. I'm gonna get off that. I'm rambling again. It's a very bad trait of mine. So, in the very first stream that he did, he got a give up rate of 4 out of 17 games, which is basically a 1 in 4 game. So, that sounds terrible. Every 1 out of 4 games someone is giving up. Dog, that's. If you remember that every game usually takes maybe 10 to 15 minutes, not counting queue times or anything, that's not that fucking bad because this fucking stream that he did this on was 4 hours long. If 4 games someone give up in 4 hours, I don't think that's that bad. Plus, if we, take into account, this is his first game. This is like a minute into the match, and he has a down, 3 injured, and 1 person already hooked. That is like a minute to 2 minutes into this game. He won at 5 gens. That's not people going next. I just don't, I don't ever count this as people going next. This is legitimately, I won the game at 5 gens. It didn't matter what you were running. It didn't matter how you were playing. You won this game. There is no go next here. This one shouldn't even have been counted, this game, which it was counted. This is the very first fucking, that was the very first one on there, and I just don't think that should generally be counting. So that's a 3 out of 17 if we want to be really honest, but let's give it to it, 4 out of 17, that's still 1 in 4 out of 4 hours. That is just a non-issue. I'm sorry. That is a non-issue. It is just such a small amount of time to just hook people and go next. It's the same amount of time as queuing into the next match. Just do that and get into it. Now, it can suck if it's back-to-back. I can completely understand that. But if you're having back-to-back people go next, I mean, you really need to think about what you're running at that point, in my opinion, as we're going to see here later. First, let's go ahead and go to the next match. So this is when he was playing Survivor. He had 3 out of 15, which, again, it just shows survivors load into a match to actually play the fucking game. And a lot of these, I saw maybe 1 to 2 slowdowns. The only time people were going next was when it was multiple slowdowns or the killer was playing like a dickhead. So I don't, not necessarily, I didn't really see the killer playing like a dickhead, really. It's just like they were playing to definitely secure a win, and I think 2 of them, like the killer was only running 2 perks. And when people run 2 perks, they're usually trying to prove something. So, you know what? They're probably going to play really fucking sweaty to a certain extent, and they're going to get really... Not that they're not good. I mean, they're playing well, is what I'm saying. Maybe not sweaty, but they're playing incredibly well. And the average DVD player who's, probably, brain dead at 5 a.m. doesn't want to really go against that. I'm sorry. People have not... People just want to have fun, man. I'm sorry. This game is never going to be a competitive game. I don't know what to tell you there. This one is when he was playing Nemesis, and he got a give-up rate of 33%. Now, I also checked this VOD out, personally, and these 2 VODs are the ones that I'm the most knowledgeable of, after watching them, and this is the very first game that is considered a give-up. I think this is the second game, actually. I see this one, I consider this one fair. If that one was counted. I didn't even realize that one was counted. Anyway. But, ignoring that one, it only took me one... the other one was first in stream. This one is another game that is just... He wins at 5 gens. He has someone hooked, 1 injured, they're trying to body block. No one's on gens, they can't possibly be progressing the game at this point. So he's going to win. There's just no way, shape, or form he doesn't win this game. So, in my opinion, this is another instance of just, he wins. I mean, he's even running some, some add-ons this time around, which is fine. But I mean, he has 4 hooks. Everyone's resetting, kind of, but zombies are... It's a case of he wins the match. There isn't much they could have done there. They were constantly getting pressure and constantly getting found. They have someone dead at 4 gens, but because it was so early on... but you have someone dead at 4 gens. And in his own, it's very weird because in his own words, I mean, he even said it in the video. I mean, I can understand if you have someone dead at 4 gens, which is exactly what's happened here. Why play the game, There's no chance that the other people can win a 3v1 at 4 gens, especially against, Scott, who does know what he's doing and is generally playing incredibly well all the time. Scott is, in my opinion, wired to play really well, even if he's not focused on the game. It's just how, it's how anyone's going to be after a while of non-stop playing a single game. and actually just constantly playing it. I mean, it's how I used to be up until the point of I just took a big break because it wasn't fun anymore. So anyway, let's go back into this. So if we remove this game and there is another game that the same thing happens, he wins at 5 gens. That would be 4 out of 18 games, which is again a 1 out of 4, which is again one every 4 hours, one every hour. To which I'm just gonna be honest there. I don't I just don't think that is a I just don't think that's an issue, man. Like, it sucks, especially back to back, but keep in mind though, right? This is the builds where he's not even running any perks, man. So let's add some of the build he did run, okay? So this is the closest thing that I wanted to see. It's not the meta build I wanted, but it's still an incredibly strong build. I would have loved to have seen Painrez and fucking Ribbon Brace. But he's running. So here's the thing with Painter's Grim Embrace is that it's going to win you matches, but it's still technically winnable as long as you have a really strong team. It's just again, I shouldn't be forced to have 3 other people on my exact same hour level when MMR itself can't even find me 3 solo queue teammates on my level. Because solo queue is just open. High MMR doesn't really exist. If it did, you would have hour-long matches in high MMR, hour-long queues in MMR, which is what happened to a content creator called Dowsy before he quit DBD. Is that he got to be really good at twins. It took him an hour to find a match, and then later on they eventually just changed it. And that's why probably a killer feels so easy, is because you're not running into really good survivors every match. One of the biggest telltale signs that someone doesn't know what the fuck they're talking about is when they openly claim that they run into a bully squad every single fucking game or a 4-man every single game. It just does not happen. There's a pro tip to find who is bullshitting or not. It isn't happening. I'm sorry. If you generally think that, send proof. You know what? Send me proof. I will gladly look at proof.
We had
So for here, I mean, he played some games. I didn't check this VOD, but Scott has a full build and plays like he would normally, and he's not sweaty for the most part. Now imagine this type of build on someone who's tunneling at 5 gens. You're probably gonna get a DC every fucking game. But it's a 50% DC rate. I mean, not a DC rate, but a 50% go next rate. To which I'm going to say, yeah, no shit. I mean, it's an incredibly strong build. Typically, the average survivor team has no chance of going against it. I wish I could. Do I get to see? Okay, 4 kills. Alright, 4 kills, 3. I mean, there's placeholders, sadly, so I don't know what's happening there. Survivor to get disconnects randomly, and it's unclear. 4 kills. Yeah, so I mean, yeah, I don't know what is the TBD part. I mean, maybe it just didn't show it, but it's a good rule of thumb is that we could just look at his VOD here in a moment and just quickly skim through it to see how many kills he got. But I don't know. I think that just proves, like, again, people aren't going to play a game if they're going to lose the game every time, and it doesn't help that the DBD meta is so incredibly strong and just one-sided to the point that where we've had to add anti-camping features, anti-tunneling features, and they were added as band-aid fixes for a bigger issue because behavior just refuses to do anything about them, to the point to where these features don't even do anything. I mean, how often do you get an anti-camp off the hook? I mean, how often do you actually see, excuse me, how often do you actually see, Shoulder the Burden actually winning a game? I mean, I saw Hens post a video literally the other day about how he went against a bully squad, quote-unquote. And all it was is that he still, like, I thought he was going to lose dramatically or something, but no, he got a 3K, and the Bill was just a loser, and then he got them next game, and he just stomped them. So I don't understand what people consider a bully squad anymore, because getting good survivors and them being completely honestly okay with being upset. Like, I'm gonna be honest, getting salty people in DBD is just, like, it used to be surprising with how much resources survivors had to work with, but I'm sorry, man. To the people who generally struggle to just kill people, I don't know how. I'm assuming you're newer to the game at that point. That's it. Because a good killer can dominate most matches by breathing. At least, when you understand. I mean, again, you have to understand the game a lot. I mean, go to any big streamer, you're gonna notice them focusing on chat half the time and not even having to worry about what they're doing in the game of Dead by Daylight. So I don't know. You tell me which is hard and which isn't. But my point is that for the Go Next experiment, I think it is not an issue. I think going next is completely fine. I don't think it's ruining anything. I don't think anything needs to be generally changed other than behavior actually fucking making the game more enjoyable by doing a meta shakeup and a Operation Health. You really want to see people not going next, then it is up to behavior. And Scott himself made a video about how flashbang was bugged, and he said, and I quote, "It is not the player's fault. It is more of behavior's fault, and maybe the tournament organizers for allowing flashbang, but it is behavior's fault that it has been bugged for so long. And to my general opinion, it is behavior's fault that the game has not had a meta shakeup, and we have had the same meta for fucking 4 years, because they changed it for like 4 months, and that does not count as a meta shakeup. If we still have every single perk in the top fucking 10, and it does never, like, one perk comes in every, like, maybe half a year, that does not count as a fucking meta shakeup. Behavior, change your meta, fix the fucking game, stop putting band-aid fixes on shit, and maybe people will actually want to play Dead by Daylight. With that being said, I'm going to end the video here. Once again, Scott, thank you so much for the Go Next experiment. I mean, to me, this still proves what I think is just people want to have a fun time, and it's a really hard time having a fun time when I'm, again, able to look at my teammate who has done nothing to progress the match while I have been literally chased by this same killer for 3 minutes now, which is crazy because that is enough time for them to pop 2 gens. Technically, that's not accounting for travel time or anything, but you get the idea. I think chest might want to be, if behavior looked at chest and sped up how long it took to unlock a chest, maybe it wouldn't be as bad. Or for them to do totems, like dole totems. Hex totems could say the same, but dole totems, because there is generally no point in doing a dole totem half the fucking time. And you know what, that would even unironically buff Pinty, and I don't even fucking care at this point. But the amount of time that I see people wasting on side objectives when I play solo queue is generally so fucking infuriating. To the point I'll literally see my best friend opening a chest and I'll just scoff while I'm being chased, like, bro, can you get on a fucking Jin? It's a Billy. He knows how to curve. I'm dead. Fuck. Anyway, have one for us today. Stay safe. Yeah, this is more for comedy. It's very, I don't know. It was fun to kind of just look at this. Anyway, have one for us today. Stay safe. Bye-bye.